Oh yes, you read that right. This is your guide to a full body AHA BHA peel. This little puppy from The Ordinary is inexpensive but effective, and I have used it for years now on my chest and back, but exfoliation can be beneficial for the entire body. We are talking revealing glowy skin. It can help with things like KP or that chicken skin on the arms or legs, can help with razor burn or even folliculitis, which you might get on your butt and kind of looks like pimples. Exfoliation can be great, but as a reminder, this AHA BHA peeling solution is not for the faint of heart. This is a chemical peeling mask, and it can sting and it can burn. This has the highest concentration of alpha hydroxy acids and beta hydroxy acids that you can get over the counter. So there's a lot of room for things to go wrong, but this can make an amazing body exfoliant if you use it properly, and that is what I want to teach you how to do. Now, disclaimers as always, make sure that you patch test and make sure that you always follow manufacturer's directions. That means 10 minutes and dry skin, which I will walk you through. And before we even get started putting this stuff on our bodies, there's a couple things that you need, such as an applicator brush, a gentle body wash, and yes, a towel. Just the way I recommend using this on the face, make sure that you have a good acid neutralizer on hand or some water to rinse this off, just in case it gets somewhere that it shouldn't be, or just in case it becomes irritating. And again, especially when doing this all over the body, you need to make sure that you've patch tested first. I recommend that you have had some experience with this on the face and you know how your skin reacts to it, before you throw this all over your entire body. And speaking of your entire body, you do want to make sure that it's cleansed. Just the way you don't want any serums or other things on your face before you apply this, you don't want anything else, including serums, sweat, oil, or dirt on your body. I like to cleanse with a really gentle body cleanser, something that is non-exfoliating and that doesn't leave any kind of film behind. The Necessary body one is the one that I love. You just want to make sure that your body wash is removed completely, and make sure that your body wash has no exfoliating acids and no little beads or no exfoliants, because this is literally going to be doing the exfoliation and the glowing up for us. Now, while you're in the shower, you don't just keep the water running and start applying. No, you want to make sure that you towel dry off. This needs to be applied on dry skin, and that includes the body as well. So make sure that the water is off, make sure that your body is cleansed, and that you are towel dried. Because this is a peeling solution, you want to avoid your sensitive areas, so know where those are. We are talking the genital areas. We are talking any areas on the body that have cuts or open wounds. Right now, I have a healing wound on my back because I basically stabbed myself in the back with my own ski by kicking my leg up in the air like a horse. Story time coming soon. But because of that, I am not going to be applying this on that area of my back, especially any areas that have mucous membranes, etc. Just the way you don't want to get this in your eyes, your nose, or your mouth, you don't want to get that anywhere else on the body as well. If you're really worried about having this drip into some of those more sensitive areas, you can use Vaseline to make sure that you protect those. The armpits or any skin folds, areas where the skin rubs, you want to be really gentle with, and you either want to completely avoid or make sure that you're using them for half time. But at this point, you have identified your sensitive areas, you've protected them with Vaseline, and it is time to tie up your hair. There is nothing worse than trying to chemically exfoliate the acne pimples or acne scars on your back and having your hair get covered in a chemical peel and then having it whip around and just throw chemical peel everywhere. Terrible disaster. Learn from my mistakes and don't do it. So tie up the hair, and that's when you can start to go in with this. I like to apply this with a foundation or a fan brush. A fan brush will give you lighter coverage, and a foundation brush will give you a little bit of a thicker but more even coverage. When it comes to this bottle, it has a 30 milliliters or 1 fluid ounce of product, and I find that I can actually do 2 to 3 whole body, head to toe, well, neck to toe coverings of this before I run out. And considering that this entire bottle is under $10, it's actually a really good bang for your buck when you think about how much a traditional chemical peel would cost elsewhere on the body. Now, I do like to apply this with a brush as well, just for ease of application, and you can actually scoop up the product and apply it more evenly. And I do recommend having some sort of a cup or a mug or something that you can drop this into, just so that you're not having this fly around. And once you are applying, make sure that you start with your most resilient areas first. For me, that is normally the shoulders, the chest, and the back. That is where my skin tends to be thickest, so I cover it there, and then I normally move on to my arms and my legs. My lower legs especially, they tend to have thicker skin, and so areas like the knees and the elbows should have this product applied first before the rest of the areas. And when you do start to move upwards, areas like the stomach tend to be a little bit more sensitive, so just make sure that you're checking in with yourself and kind of feeling like, does it feel like I'm on fire or am I doing okay? And as a reminder, I don't necessarily recommend doing the armpits, but if you are going to do the axillary areas, make sure that you're only doing them for half the time. Now, as you do this, make sure that you turn on a timer, because remember, you don't want to leave this on for for more than 10 minutes. The water should be off at this time. It's fine to stand in kind of a steamy shower-like area, but the water should be off and you are applying this to dry skin. Now, some of the areas that I love to apply this are to the knees and elbows. My knees and elbows can tend to get a little bit rough, and oh my god, this exfoliates them. This helps them glow. Because it has these alpha hydroxy acids, it also helps to kind of moisturize those areas, and I love these on dry knees and dry elbows. Another really great place to put this is on your lower calves, especially if you have shaving bumps. Now, you should not do this right after you shave. You should do this when you have a little bit of stubble, and again, make sure that you are not applying this on any cuts or bruises. Any cuts, bruises, or open fissures in the skin should be covered with vegan Vaseline or vegan petrolatum jelly to protect them. But if you apply this to the legs or those areas that you get a lot of ingrown hairs and stubbles, this works so well. Exfoliation can help with ingrown hairs, and this is bomb diggity. And if you're like me, and if you get what looks like butt acne, it might not actually be butt acne. Often it's folliculitis or pseudofolliculitis, and a lot of people confuse it for acne. But what can help? Avoiding humid climates and tight clothes like you might wear to the gym when you sweat, but also exfoliation. So this is really good on the butt area. Now remember, we are not going into the creases. We are not going into the genitals, the gonads. We want to avoid those areas. However, when it comes to the skin on the side of the butt or on the rear, this stuff can work really, really well. This is also fantastic on the back and on the chest if you have sunspots, if you have hyperpigmentation, if you have active acne and scars. I have active acne all down my back, and this is fantastic for anyone who struggles with that. Again, you just want to make sure that you're a little flexible or you have someone to help you apply it if you're trying to get some of those hard to reach areas. But that's also why using a foundation brush or using a fan brush can really be beneficial to help you reach. Now remember, at this time, we are tracking our time, making sure that we don't exceed 10 minutes. That is what manufacturer's directions say, and because this is literally a chemical peeling mask, we don't want to f around with it. We don't want chemical burns, we don't want rebound hyperpigmentation, we don't want the problems that can come with over exfoliating or over stripping our skin. So always make sure that you're doing this no more than once or twice a week. If even, I maybe do this once a month if I'm lucky, and then make sure that you're not leaving it on for more than 10 minutes. Now, once that 10 minutes is up, or once that 5 minutes is up on really sensitive areas, that's when it's time to wash off. Now, you should already be in like a shower area because you've cleansed your body. So just turn on that water and rinse. Make sure that the water isn't too hot because hot scalding water after a chemical peel is not a good idea, but make sure that the water isn't freezing cold either. I would say the safest thing you can do is use completely room temperature water, although it's not as comfortable. And if you want to, you can turn that to slightly lukewarm. It's really good when you rinse it off. Again, just make sure that you're protecting any of those areas that, the product can kind of flow, if that makes sense. Just the way if you have shampoo or conditioner and you rinse it out of your hair and it goes like down your butt crack, you want to make sure that anything that you had on your back or your body does not get into any of those special areas, into your no-no zones, or into any open cuts or wounds. And again, the best way to deal with that is make sure that you're just rinsing things off carefully, or you could even preemptively apply more of your body cleanser, kind of that soap and water, to some of those more special areas, so that even if the product does drip onto that, you almost have a layer of really gentle cleansing soap to buffer, anything from getting anywhere that it shouldn't be. And remember, if it does get into any areas, rinse with lukewarm water. Just make sure that you're rinsing and flushing that out for another 10 to 15 minutes. And if for some reason it got to places that it shouldn't be, see a doctor. Go to the doctor if that happens. And if that happens, how would that happen? I don't want to know. Just take care of it. 99% of the time, nothing goes wrong. I've been doing this for at least a year and nothing has gone wrong. And I've actually been a little bit scared to share it just because people are going to be like,
Cassandra, you exfoliate your entire body with this stuff?
And I'm like, duh, I'm fucking in love with it. But I digress. Once you're done with that, you do want to pat dry. Make sure that you're not scrubbing at the skin because you did just exfoliate. Make sure that you pat dry gently and just remove any water or moisture that's on the skin. Now, when you step out of the shower and you are dried off, you don't necessarily need to go in with anything, but seeing as your skin has been freshly exfoliated, it's not a bad idea to apply a good hydrator or a good moisturizer. You would ideally want to use something that you don't mind penetrating the skin, so something that has really good ceramides or maybe has glycerin in it. You can also look for products that maybe have niacinamide or some antioxidants. Just avoid anything that has any sort of exfoliating acid in it, and also avoid anything that has heavy fragrances or essential oils in it, just because you don't want those penetrating the skin deeper than they have to be, especially since you just exfoliated the outer layer of your epidermis, the stratum corneum, and removed part of that from your body. Now, if within the next 2 days you are going anywhere in the sun, you also want to make sure to protect your body. Again, we have just exfoliated it, revealing this glowing, smooth, soft skin, but because we've we've removed those dead keratinocytes, those outer skin cells, our skin is more susceptible to sunburn. So make sure that you're using a sunscreen. Try to make sure that you're wearing long sleeves, maybe even a hat. And even while you're driving in the car, just make sure that you have like even a car towel to just put over your arm to make sure that you're not getting any unnecessary sun exposure. When it comes to body sunscreens, you can use the same sunscreen that you use on your face, but normally facial sunscreens cost more. Some really good body sunscreens are the UV Aero from Elta MD, which is good. And although it's pasty, even the Think Baby, it's really inexpensive. It's very pasty, but I do use that all over my body and I find that it works really well. Pacifica has some inexpensive but good body sunscreens too. And The Ordinary actually has a sunscreen that works well as a body sunscreen that doesn't break the bank. That Ordinary sunscreen is also mineral/physical, which is what I would recommend. If you were to use a chemical sunscreen, it could burn. Again, a chemical or organic sunscreen can sometimes sting the skin, especially after you've freshly exfoliated. So as long as you don't mind a little bit of a white cast or you don't mind rubbing it in, I would say go for a mineral sunscreen. And don't forget to take before and after pictures. You want to see if this is actually working. Is it helping with the ingrown hairs on your legs? Is it helping with the acne scars or the sunspots on your chest? Is it helping with your dry, ashy elbows or knees? If you don't take pictures, it can be really hard to tell because after you've done it for 6 times, after 6 months, you'll be like, my elbows look good, but are they really that improved? But if you actually have those pictures to look back on, you can actually see and track your progress. So be sure to do that so you can see if it actually works for you and if it's worth spending 2 to 3 uses per bottle. And that way you can make decisions that make sense for your wallet and your beautiful body. Now, this obviously works for me. That's why I keep coming back to it, but every single person is going to be different. And again, if you have any concerns, if you're afraid of this, don't do it. This is for skintellectuals. Make sure that you have used this on your face a multitude of times and know how it works for your body before putting this all over your body. And when in doubt, call a doctor and talk it out. Send me some of your before and after pictures if you have them, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Always remember to reapply that SPF and be beautiful both inside and out. I am going to wash this off my face, add a little bit more to the rest of my body, yaddy, 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 and I will see you when I am freshly AHA BHA exfoliated. Love you guys. Bye.